You know, it's interesting going back and revisiting episodes of Star Trek The Next Generation that are now 30 years old, because some of these episodes hit differently upon a modern day viewing. And today I want to talk about one of these episodes that I just rewatched, and I had to talk about it. It's season 4, episode 12, I believe, called The Wounded. I'm writer-producer Trader Bubba, and this is Bubba Breaks Sci-Fi.
You're gonna see some serious shit.
So say we all.
Engage.
From the point of view of a working writer in Hollywood, this episode really hits differently with adult viewing. Now that I'm older and have experienced life, and especially in our current situation in this country. And I'm not going to sit here and rehash the whole plot, but from a writer's perspective, there's some very interesting things happening in this episode. I love that the episode starts off with Chief O'Brien having dinner with his wife. He just, I think, got married an episode or two previous to this. And so you're kind of seeing their early years of being married. And this is a very important scene because he's having dinner with his wife, Keiko, and she is serving a traditional Japanese dinner. And he's politely complaining that he would like to introduce her to his favorite meals, which actually involve, meat and potatoes. It's a cute little scene, but it's very important. And the reason it's important is because it's going to be showcasing that Chief O'Brien, like every other character in Star Trek, is very open and accepting of other cultures. The whole Star Trek, theme is that diversity makes us stronger, that they actually look for other cultures. They want to learn more about other cultures. And this scene is important because obviously, as we'll see later on in the episode, it's proving that Chief O'Brien isn't different, that he is also accepting of other cultures. He's willing to partake and try different things, in this case, food from other cultures. And even if he doesn't like it, he's still not being a complete jerk about it. So in this episode, a Starfleet captain has basically gone rogue. He's out there attacking Cardassian ships. The Cardassians have more or less recently been introduced in the Star Trek universe. And it's interesting when you look at the Cardassians because they just look menacing, right? They got the neck bones. They've got just this harsh, lots of jagged edges on their faces. They just look menacing. They don't look like good people. And this is important. This is very important because in this episode, we learn that there was a war between the Federation and the Cardassians, and that Chief O'Brien and this captain that they're looking for of this other starship served together and actually fought in combat against the Cardassians together. So Chief O'Brien is going into the situation where he's now being asked to work with and actually assist Cardassians and hunting down his old captain. And he makes some very harsh statements when being forced to work with them, because this particular Cardassian invites Chief O'Brien to have a drink with him, and he just really tells that Cardassian off. And this has to do with Chief O'Brien's obviously previous experience of having to fight these guys. So there's a great moment where Chief O'Brien is talking to Keiko, and he's basically talking about himself in the third person, and he's saying, why would people still hold ill will towards the Cardassians if they're allies now? And she flat out says, well, we were at war with them for a long time. It's hard to put that past you, And he's looking for validation, and it's very good, simple, but spot on writing. And then he finally does have a drink with the Cardassian. And there's a great moment where he tells the Cardassian, look, I'm sorry I was so rude to you, but, I was at this particular battle. And that Cardassian admits, man, that was a mistake on our part. And it's interesting and important that it shows that, look, these are a race of people. Obviously, the government or military was doing one thing. That doesn't mean everyone is subscribing to that mentality, to that, warlike policy. And he's saying, look, I don't agree with everything. I'm a small cog in a big wheel. And he shares a drink with O'Brien. And then finally, O'Brien tells him this.
It's not you I hate, Cardassian.
I hate what I became because of you.
I see you. Hit that subscribe button, and I'll read to you the naughty parts of Imzadi. This is one of those episodes where, as a kid or even a teenager watching it in reruns, it really isn't going to hit the same until you're older and you've had some experience, and quite frankly, you've lived through some shit, which I have. Now, look, I've never served. I wanted to go into the Navy. Couldn't quite do it. I was actually living with and caring for my grandmother at the time. But I've had some jobs here in California, in Southern California, where, let's just say, I had to deal with the public, and I've seen my share of violence, and I've had to be a part of violence, and it changes you. So this episode, 30 years later, it hits me personally different. And watching this now from the point of view of a working writer in Hollywood, I mean, they are absolutely killing the writing in this episode. It is so good. You don't have a lot of time to deal with these, quite frankly, large and heavy themes, but they do it perfectly. So Chief O'Brien helps the Enterprise and the Cardassians track down his old captain. And finally, he's got that moment with the captain, and that captain was wrong. What he was doing in attacking these Cardassian ships was wrong. But what he wasn't wrong about was his reasons for doing it. And Captain Picard finally says this at the very end of the episode. It hits very hard right now, especially with what this country is going through and some of our conflicts with other countries right now. And I don't know, this episode just really stayed with me upon my revisiting of TNG recently. It's still staying with me because we all have our own prejudice against different groups of people, and it's based on life experience. If your only experience with any group of people at all is negative, you're going to have bad feelings towards the entire group, and it's really hard to overcome that if we're being honest with ourselves. Hey, this video is brought to you by TraderBubba.com. At TraderBubba.com, I got all sorts of fun new sci-fi shirts and mugs. Tea, okay, hot. Release the Riker Files. This is actually one of my favorites, huge seller. And I survived Wolf 359. All proceeds do go to charity. The charity does change once in a while, so come back and take a look at that. TraderBubba.com. Link in the description down below. Very great episode. If you haven't had a chance to revisit TNG lately, I would just put this episode on. And this is what I love about TNG and the older Star Trek in general, is you can put any episode on for the most part. It's not like modern day streaming shows where you got to watch them in order and blah blah blah. You can just pick an episode at random and you're going to get a full beginning, middle, and an end to the story. In this episode, I love it. It's a great episode. Guys, I'm Trader Bubba. Thanks so much for checking out Bubba Breaks Sci-Fi. Don't go away just yet. I got some more great videos on Star Trek and other great sci-fi popping up right here. You're going to want to check them out.